Show.
Matt Rothschild, longtime progressive.
I think what we need to do is convince the vast majority of Americans to resist Trump and resist fascism. And we're not going to bring them over if we just act as dirty and nasty as the Republicans are in Texas.
I still disagree.
Thanks for tuning in to the Todd Allbaugh Show, folks. We'll kick things off in about 30 seconds.
De-escalate. You have to agree to do.
Of all the things that I've done, this has always been number one, baseball.
Swing and a miss! Come on, New York! And they've done it again! 12 in a row!
Swings and there it is! 3,000 for Robin.
What a shot by Rose! Swing and a bouncer, double play ball, relay! Double play! What a finish! Way back! Get up! Get out of here and go! He just hit a walk-off and this one is over! Morgan a smash up the middle, base hit to center! Here comes Gomez! The Brewers win! The Brewers are moving on! And they're the champions! They have done it! Leaping and he got it! Oh, baby!
For all of these years, baseball was the only way I wanted to go. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh, along with Mr. Aaron Zommers, our producer and engineer on the board. It is 7 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock on this Monday, August 25th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Welcome in, everybody, at the world headquarters of Civic Media in downtown Madison above State Street. Partly cloudy skies, beautiful fall weather, and Aaron Zommers, what a cold open, courtesy of our friends Kelly Call and Sean Hanisch, the producer and director, respectively, of Just a Bit Outside, the story the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. That is just part. We opened the show today with just a part of Kelly and Sean's work that really made the entire afternoon yesterday at AmFam Field something special, whether you were there in person, like our own Dan Schaefer I know was there, or whether like me watching it on FanDuel and listening to it on the Brewers Radio Network. Hats off to Kelly Call and Sean Hanisch for their great work doing all the video and audio tributes for Bob Uecker's celebration of life yesterday at AmFam Field. It was really amazing.
Yeah, I remember when they talked about getting the opportunity to make this and share this story and celebrate Bob Uecker's life. I'm glad that we all got to share in that celebration because it was something special.
Yeah, they talked a little bit off the air with us after they were here last time. And to Zommers' point, they knew the importance of this. They knew the gravity of it. They were humbled to have been asked, and they were taking it very, very seriously. And if you watched yesterday or listened, I'll use the metaphor. In my opinion, they hit it out of the park they hit the exact right tone. And what Kelly and Sean did, and along with the Brewers, of course, and the Uecker family, is they had this special tribute yesterday at AmFam Field before the game that went much longer, by the way, than it was scheduled to go. And they set it up just outside or just in front of the Brewers dugout. They set up a staging area, and they kind of mimicked the old Johnny Carson Tonight's Show set with a desk in which the great broadcaster Bob Costas was there in person. Of course, he worked a lot of television, baseball over the years with Bob Uecker, knew him very well. So Costas was there as the host MC, and then seated to Costas's right in kind of the old couch style, but everybody was in chairs. You had Brian Anderson, the great sportscaster in and of himself, of course, doing a lot of the play-by-play on FanDuel for the Brewers. He was there along with former owner of the Brewers and baseball commissioner emeritus Bud Selig. Current Milwaukee Brewers main owner Mark Attanasio was on the stage as well, along with current player Christian Yelich, who I think arguably was one of the closest current players to Bob Uecker as terms of a friendship and a mentorship. He also had the great Robin Yount, Hall of Famer, on the stage, along with Hall of Famer Ted Simmons. Of course, Yount and Simmons were in Just a Bit Outside talking about their own run to the World Series in 1982. Did I leave anybody else, Summers, on the dais there? Oh, George Brett from the great Hall of Famer from the Kansas City Royals, who came up and was in town and had known Uecker as well. So what they did is Costas had all these guys on the stage, and then they along with, and we knew that Kelly and Sean were working on this, they chopped up Uecker's career life, and they'll hear first base and playing baseball with the Braves and then St. Louis, and then second base and third base, and then a rounding home as a Brewers broadcaster. And they had 5 to, I would say, 10-minute video montages that told this story in cinematic form. Much of Uecker's own words were takes that were not used in Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 82 Brewers. We know from interviewing and talking with Sean and Kelly that they were, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Zommers, but I think they were told they were going to get either 45 minutes or an hour with Uecker, because we, as the general public, didn't know it. But at the time, Uecker was already undergoing cancer treatments for lung cancer, so they were trying to be judicious with his time. And however the time frame was that Sean and Kelly were told they were going to get with Uecker, they got to that point, and Uecker's like, well, why are we stopping? This is fun. Let's keep going.
Right.
And they got like another 20 minutes or a half an hour with him, I think.
Yeah, and in one of their stories of rounding the bases of his life, they told a similar story that somebody else had, where they were only supposed to interview with him for like 30 minutes and ended up, or no, that wasn't part of their video. It was one of the other speakers who said they ended up chatting with him for 3 or 4 hours or something.
Yeah, just going to dinner. When he went, when he went to dinner with Uecker's. I mean, Uecker, you got to block off like 3 to 4 hours. So it was really amazing. Unfortunately, the Brewers could not come up with a win. I think Murph said after the game, Pat Murphy, the Brewers manager, I can't believe the baseball gods didn't let us get a win today. But the Brewers came up a little short. And before I forget this, on the other side of the field, the San Francisco Giants were the opponent in town. Former Milwaukee Brewer, who ended up with the Giants in the offseason, Willie Adames was there. And I want to shout out Willie Adames as an absolute class act this weekend. He used to wear, with the Brewers, he used to wear one of the, on one arm, a yellow sleeve, and he had like blue and yellow cleats. He brought those back, even though he had his San Francisco Giants uniform on. He was wearing the yellow cleat or the yellow blue cleats or the yellow sleeve. And he stood there on the top of the Giants dugout yesterday for the entirety of the hour-and-a-half tribute to Uecker yesterday and soaked it all in. And he could not have been more complimentary of the Brewers and to Uecker. And I thought, wow, there's a guy, Willie Adames, who's just a class act. So shout out to him as well. Shout out to everybody who is involved with this tribute. The Uecker family putting out a statement this morning saying how much it meant to them. The place, according to our own Dan Schaefer and Mike Clemens, our great sports reporter guys who were there, that nearly the thing was a sellout, been a sellout for, so 41,000 plus. And everybody was in their seats practically an hour before it started. So they got there early. I guess traffic was a nightmare because everybody wanted to get there on time and get there early. Everybody understood the assignment. And somebody tweeted out, here I am like 20 minutes before the game starts. There's nobody at the concession stand. I mean, you can walk right up and get a beer or whatever. Because everybody wanted to be in that space, and in a time where we are too often in our phones, in our devices, and do not share a communal experience, that's about as close as we're going to get these days.
Absolutely. And if you want to join in on that communal experience and catch in, the entire ceremony is available to watch on YouTube. The MLB YouTube channel themselves posted it, so this is no piracy or anything. Right. This is officially the whole hour and 2-minute ceremony.
That's
if
awesome.
you just look up on YouTube, Euchre Celebration of Life, it'll come up, and I am also linking it in the show notes.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Zomer. So if you missed it yesterday, if you don't subscribe to FanDuel to watch the games, you can catch Kelly and Sean's great work in putting together these video montages of Bob Euchre's life. And of course, it's a good time to remind people that if you haven't seen Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, you can do it today for free on the Roku channel yet, or you can pay if you subscribe to Apple TV or Amazon Prime. It's on there as well. So check out the movie and see more of their great work, more of these interviews with Bob Euchre, or as Zomer said, it's on, you said, the Major League Baseball YouTube channel?
Yes.
The entire tribute yesterday from all the people there at AmFam Field. I want to play one more. This is a shorter one of Kelly and Sean's work on this. And this played kind of before the whole thing started. And it focuses on radio. It's a guy who started in a radio engineering broadcast, Brewers broadcast with Euchre. This meant a lot to me. Here's the Euchre radio tribute from yesterday.
Yelich sends one to right center and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here and gone for Yelich!
To me, Bob Euchre just symbolizes the joy of summer.
Sitting on our front porch and bringing out the little transistor radio and dialing up the old AM station.
83 beautiful degrees at game time tonight. Here it is. Strike called, and we are underway.
Cooking out Broughton hamburgers with family and friends, just always on in the background, and became a familiar part of the family.
Swinging a liner, base hit to left, and there it is.
Summers out fishing, and there's my dad, and there's Bob on the radio calling the game.
Hey, struck him out.
His little side stories that he would go on, that's where the magic was.
If you didn't enjoy baseball, then you didn't like sliced bread either. Brewers head for Arizona on their up-and-coming trip. Out there, you can hold a hot dog out your car window and cook it.
Can't hit a curveball with 4 baseball bats and a tennis racket, too.
All you got to do is turn the dial, and Euchre was always there. Through the radio, I felt like I was literally there. Feel the emotion, the passion, excitement in the call.
We're going to smash up the middle, base hit to center. Here's Gomez, a throw, and the Brewers win. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for being Brewer fans. And we'll get together again.
The late, great Bob Euchre, the video compilation put together by Kelly Call and Sean Hanisch, the producers and director of Just a Bit Outside. Great work, guys. Again, just really, really was emotional listening and watching yesterday. Really, really impactful. They did Bob Euchre well, did him great. And the fans, I think everybody there had nothing but great things to say as well. What's your favorite memory of Bob Euchre? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. What's your favorite memory of Euchre? Want to take your calls and share a little bit here on the air. Our ongoing contributor and friend Jeff Perry on Facebook saying, thanks for playing the montage, Todd. I'm tearing up a little bit. Well, you and me both, Jeff. I mean, that was yesterday, just watching this and hearing it. It was goosebumps. It was hair on my arms. It was lump in the throat, teary-eyed, and also laughing. Also a lot of laughing as well. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. What's your favorite memory of Bob Euchre as we talk about this great ceremony, remembrance of life at AmFam Field yesterday? Going to talk politics at the bottom of the hour as well. Tom Kircher is here with Wisconsin Watch. He's going to be in talking about a threesome. Well, at least it involves 3 counties. Really intriguing, interesting story, and also some news briefs from Wisconsin Watch. So come on back for that. And what was the most underrated part about Bob Euchre's career? Well, Bob Costas tells us on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It may surprise you. The greatest part of Bob Euchre's career, according to Bob Costas, is the Allbaugh Show across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Since real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
Blind Shot Social Club, a perfect blend of cool, casual dining, indoor golf with space for events, craft cocktails, and non-alcoholic drinks too. A hidden gem on Madison's East Side. Blind Shot Social Club, open to everyone. BlindShotSocialClub.com.
Experience northern Wisconsin this season and book your vacation at Lena's Northern Pines Resort on beautiful Butternut Lake in Butternut, Wisconsin. This quaint resort has it all. A full-service resort and restaurant, open year-round for all your seasons, from ATVing to snowmobiling, grouse hunting, deer hunting, and even ice fishing. Or just come to relax with the whole family. And there's also an event space for that perfect occasion that you might be celebrating. Butternut Lake is a 1,000-plus acre Class A musky lake, along with walleye, crappie, perch, and panfish that the kids love to catch. It's perfect for escaping the hustle and bustle of the city. Check your next adventure out today. Go to northernpines.net.
We'll probably do
www.northernpines.net.
got time for it, but we'll probably do the Costas cut, and then his final call, and then him singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Okay.
Since 1970, I'm Amy Barrio. Regulators have decided that families and businesses across the Midwest, including here in Wisconsin, will be footing the bill to bring an empty coal plant back online in Michigan. In May, the Trump administration used
got
an
a couple more
emergency
comments
order to
as well.
force
All right,
consumers'
thank you.
energy to bring coal back on site and fire up the old plant. So far, that has come with a price tag of $29 million in just 5 weeks. All that rain we've been getting is bringing new attention to Wisconsin's wetlands. Turns out those wet, boggy areas are one of our best protections against flooding. 1 acre of wetlands can hold more than 300,000 gallons of water. According to a recent study, Wisconsin's
seconds.
wetlands provide
Thank
about
you.
$4.5 billion in flood mitigation every year. Right now on the Defender podcast, why the EPA is now claiming climate change won't hurt you and what that could mean for Wisconsin. Listen at cleanwisconsin.org.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 22 past the hour of 2 o'clock. Glad to have you along on Monday, August 25th. Zommers on the board. And remembering the late, great Bob Uecker, his celebration of life yesterday at AmFam Field. Huge, huge shout out. Bravo. Round of applause to our friends Kelly Call and Sean Hanish, the producers and director, respectively, of Just Have Been Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, because they were the ones that are responsible for the creation, the content, the editing, and the presentation of all of the video and audio tributes yesterday that were up on the great big, huge 4K screen at AmFam Field. If you listen to the game here on Civic Media on the Brewers Radio Network, you heard the audio of it. Great, they carried that. If you watch FanDuel, you saw the video and the audio as well. And as Zommers said, you can watch the entire thing, see all of Kelly and Sean's work and the great interviews with Bob Costas on the Major League Baseball YouTube page. We're going to put a link to it in our show page as well. As Zommers said, not pirated. It's completely legit, licensed. The Major League Baseball wants everybody to see this, so they're putting it out there for free, and I think that's great. Also, the Brewers try to get back on Uecker would probably be furious that they lost the game because of he said, geez, if he wouldn't have talked about me so much, I would have won the game, right?
He definitely would have blamed it on himself.
But the Brewers try to get back on the winning streak tonight against the Diamondbacks. You can hear the broadcast starting at the pregame show at 6:05. First pitch just after 6:35 at AmFam Field. You can hear it on WRCE in Richland Center, ISS in Oshkosh Bagosh. Also on WCQM Park Falls and WBZH in Hayward. The Brewers taking on the Diamondbacks tonight at 6:05 for the pregame show. What are your favorite remembrances of the late, great Bob Uecker? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Or you can text us on the Civic Media app or at us at one of the streamers. Jeff Perry saying on Facebook, saying that his favorite memory, one of the greatest euchre moments has to be his Hall of Fame induction speech. Holy moly, that was hilarious. Yeah, they included part of that, Kelly and Sean did, in the video montage yesterday. Part of it self-deprecating, part of it just saying straight out the few serious parts of it that, baseball was the only thing for him. That's all he ever wanted to go do. Somebody, I think when one of the press conferences said, whether it was Costas or somebody said, they once asked Euchre, if it wasn't baseball, if it wasn't, what would he have done? And he said, probably would have stayed in the Army. So I thought that was really interesting. Also, our own Terry Barr, tuning in on YouTube, always a pleasure. Co-host of Max Inc. Radio, amongst other duties here at Civic Media. Terry says, I met Bob in Cincinnati. He signed a photo of himself in County Stadium on his Harley for my dad. We both loved Uke and the Brewers. I like to think they were drinking a Miller Lite together. Love that, Terry. Wow, that's super cool. Never got to meet him. That's one of the people that I really regret not meeting. But I think we all felt or feel kind of like, because the broadcasts were so familiar, that we did. But that's awesome, Terry, that you actually did. 855-752-4842. Brett in Brown Deer. Brett, thanks for listening. Thanks for calling in. Got a favorite memory of Uke?
I certainly do. I got to meet the Uke one day.
Wow.
It was like 1982, and I was going to college, and I went into UWM bookstore in Milwaukee, and believe it or not, there's a table with books, all of Bob's books, and there he's standing, waiting, I guess, to sign books, but nobody was around.
Wow.
So I just kind of walked up, and I knew who he was, and I just kind of thought I'd be cute, and I go, so you anybody? And he just laughed. Bob didn't miss a beat. He turned and he goes, nope, they just told me to watch all these books. His picture's all over him, And I talked to him for about 10, 15 minutes. He was really a great guy.
Wow. How cool is that? That's amazing. I'm so happy for you, Brett. You got to meet him.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, right? And thanks for calling and sharing that. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Let's get to this quickly. Bob Costas, Master of Ceremonies, yesterday talked about what he thought was the most underrated part of Bob Uecker's career.
He had this larger-than-life personality, and he had tremendous ability outside calling a ball game. And most of the country outside Wisconsin knows him from Johnny Carson in the Major League films. But if he never said one thing that was funny, and you just judged him as a baseball announcer, especially on the radio, Hall of Fame caliber baseball announcer.
I think that's a really, really important part, that he just knew how to paint the picture and knew how to call a game. And I think Costas is absolutely right about that. 855-752-4842. Dick in Madison. Dick, about a minute left here. What do you got for us? Favorite memory of Uke?
Well, it was almost more fun to listen to him than to watch it on TV in some senses.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said. My favorites were still always those appearances on Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
They just were off the charts funny. And he'd have both him and McMahon in stitches.
Yeah.
It was great.
It really was, right? And I mean, the thing that, and he always, Uke always played it straight. In other words, like he would go on, just be serious, and he'd crack Carson up. And it was that's kind of hard to do, especially, and you kind of knew if you watched Carson a lot when he really thought someone was funny or whether he was being polite. And he thought Uke was actually really funny. Because he was.
But what made him, too, is self-deprecation. Like you said, that he was kind of like Don Knotts' Barney Fife,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Absolutely. Thanks, Dick. Really appreciate it. Madison calling on MDX. Summers?
Another thing that shows that Carson thought he was actually funny is how many times he invited him back.
Right? Yeah, well, I don't know for record, but I think over 100 times. And he and some of this stuff they were talking about yesterday, Uecker would not take a game off to do this. So like when Carson was in New York when it started, or whether it was in LA, Uecker said he would get on a plane and fly out to either New York or LA, do the show, and then take a red eye back to wherever the team was. We'll have a few more remembrances later on in the show, but when we come back, a political governmental threesome? Yeah, we're not kidding around. Tom Kersher will be here to explain it all, and some Wisconsin Watch briefs. Not boxers, but briefs. Come on back, we'll explain. It's the Allbaugh Show. Time now for Pam Yonke, the Farm News on Civic Media.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX.
As Wisconsin is dropping a line in your favorite fishing spot, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
May already be enjoying it. Wisconsin's sweet corn season is upon us. I'm Pam Yankee with a quick update on what's happening in food and farming news on a Monday. That good news coming from Bill Tracy. He's the director of the UW Sweet Corn Program. He says although the weather was a little erratic around the state, the sweet corn season looks bountiful, depending on where you're growing it.
You asked me about the season. It's a mixed bag. And it seems like you probably get that answer all the time on everything. We're going to be high yields for the food processors and home gardeners and farmers market type folks should have good corn, but the disease is going to be a problem for some people.
Bill Tracy keeping his eyes on Wisconsin's sweet corn crop. He's the director of the UW Sweet Corn Program. He says something like northern corn leaf blight is definitely taking a toll on some sweet corn fields in the state.
Unique farming operations need unique financial solutions. Ag Country Farm Credit Services offers customized financing that fits any size farm, ranch, or agribusiness. The next time you're in the market for more land, equipment, facilities, or maybe even an operating loan, contact the team at Ag Country. They know agriculture and will work for you. Ag Country. Focused on ag, focused on you. Ag Country is an equal opportunity lender.
At the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection, they know your business has always been something special. Now you can let customers know it too, in an instant, with the red and yellow Something Special from Wisconsin sticker. Joining the program gives you access to supplier and distribution information, marketing support, and a community of like-minded Wisconsin businesses. Best of all, you'll let people know that your work is done with care, quality, and love. You've always been something special. Visit somethingspecialfromwisconsin.com to make it official.
And Marathon County is already looking forward to 2026. The Wisconsin Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection has announced they'll host the 79th Alice in Dairyland Finals May 14th through the 16th next year. They want to focus in on their rich history, their beautiful rolling hills, and the woodlands surrounding the Wisconsin River and its tributaries. They also want to focus in on the diverse agriculture many people don't realize Marathon County has. Marathon County ranks #1 in ginseng, #2 in the dairy industry in Wisconsin. It also has a very vibrant maple syrup industry. Again, the Allison Dairyland Finals next year, May 14th through the 16th in Marathon County. And that's a quick update on what's happening in food news on a Monday. More available anytime at MidwestFarmReport.com. Sign up for our daily e-newsletter. You won't miss a thing. I am Farm Director Pam Yankee.
As Wisconsin is brats on the grill for a tailgate, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Crisp and comfortable today, well below average, with highs only reaching the upper 60s. Still breezy out there. Clear skies tonight, low slide to the upper 40s. And tomorrow, still staying cool. Highs flirting with 70. And the next chances for rain hold off until Wednesday night. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Currently, it's 65.
Hey, Gordy, did you know Dane County Humane Society is calling on our community to help find new homes for every available animal as part of the nationwide Clear the Shelters adoption campaign running through August?
I did, John. I also heard to encourage adoptions, Dane County Humane Society will offer reduced adoption fees for a different animal group each week, leading up to a special adoption finale event on Saturday, August 23rd.
Well, that's great. Animal shelters across the country, including here in Dane County, are facing unprecedented challenges with slower adoptions, high intake of strays and surrendered pets, and limited resources. Shelters are working harder than ever to care for these animals.
DCHS is proud to serve thousands of animals each year, not just through adoption, but also by reuniting lost pets with their families and offering safety net programs for struggling pet guardians.
Get the details about the weekly adoption specials this month, and they'll be posted at the Dane County Humane Society website, giveshelter.org.
having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along on a Monday, August 25th, 2025. It is 35 minutes now past the hour of 2 o'clock. Zommers on the board. That's Mr. Aaron Zommers to you and me. Thank you very much. On the board, wearing your brand new, brand new WMDX 92.7 t-shirt. Look at that. Very stylish, Zommers.
Yes, you can get these at the Madison night markets, I believe.
Yeah.
Although I think there's a newer design than this still.
Well, there's one with John and Gordy. Speaking of, I'm going to be a guest on the Pete Schwaba show, Nightlight, which is being guest hosted by John and Gordy. And they ran out of people to talk to, I think. No. It was very kind. They asked me, they said, hey, would you like to come join us tonight on the show? So I'm looking forward in nervous anticipation to joining John and Gordy, filling in for Pete Schwaba. Conrad will be here, of course. The lovable Conrad, as Pete says, the engineer, producer of Nightlight. And I think our own Italian stallion, Dominic Lee, will be here as well.
I believe so.
So it'll be a full house tonight for...
Quite packed
for Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Join us tonight right here on this very network. We're awaiting, Tom Kircher will be joining us here in just a couple of minutes from Wisconsin Watch to talk about many stories that they've been working on over there at wisconsinwatch.org. But until he arrives in the old StreamYard green room, I want to follow up on a couple more things from our first segment here. First half hour, we did a lot with Bob Uecker. Of course, Uecker passed away earlier this year. And then they had this great tribute yesterday at AmFam Field. Bob Costas flew in, was the MC, the great broadcaster Bob Costas. A lot of people in Uecker's life. And our friends Sean Hanish and Kelly Call did all the videography and editing and compilation and creation for this great video tribute. And as Zommers said before, you can see it all on Major League Baseball's YouTube channel. They put it up for free, which I think is really, really cool. Zommers is putting the link in our show notes as well. If you have FanDuel, the subscription to watch the Brewers, I believe you can still find the entire ceremony on FanDuel as well at the beginning of yesterday's broadcast. So be aware of that. And our own, I still call him our ongoing contributor, friend Jeff Perry, weighing in on some of his favorite Uecker highlights. By the way, Jeff works over at our friends over at WVMO over in Monona. Congratulations to Jeff Perry. Just celebrated 10 years as host of his music program over on WVMO. So check him out, a great community radio. And his bosses were here earlier today doing a little tour of our facility and looking at our equipment, which I thought was kind of personal. But no, they're looking at some of the software, thinking, well, what works here, what works there. So that was. It's just great to be other people in. It's great to meet other people at radio my own age or close to it.
Yeah, and Jeff, we said nice things about you, but I don't know if they bought it.
Yes, don't believe anything they say. If they say, we were not nasty. We were not nasty. We were very complimentary. Let's do this, Zommers. Let's play one more clip here as we wait for Tom Kircher. And let's play, this is current Milwaukee Brewer owner Mark Antanasio. And he was asked in a press conference yesterday how this entire Uecker celebration got put together. Here's the first minute or so of that response.
The planning for the day started once the family was able to, Bob was so much larger than life that it was hard to, in fact, to this day, it's hard for me to comprehend that he's gone. So I can imagine how the family feels. So till they were able to just get their arms around that, but then it started in earnest, and the organization's goal was to do whatever felt right for the family, and so everything that you've seen up to this point and that you'll see today was all to follow the family's wishes.
Again, that's enough on that. It's Mark Antanasio, the current owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. So, again, I think it's just really cool that the family came together and worked with the Brewers organization and then worked with Kelly Call and Sean Hanish to help put all that video together. And they and the team and the player, all the current Milwaukee Brewers were right there for every moment of it, taking it all in. It was truly a family experience. So that was really great to see.
One of the coolest things during the ceremony, and this is in the YouTube version as well, is getting to see the reactions on the players and family and everyone's faces. It'll have like the video that Kelly Call and Sean Hanisch made, taking up maybe half to 2/3 of the screen, and then a camera over on the side. You'll get to see people's faces and people laughing and crying, and
it was super cool.
Yeah,
a really, really special moment. And again, if you did not see it, you can see it for free on MLB YouTube channel. And Zommers has the link to that, or you can just search. What's it called if they want to search on their own?
If you just search Euchre Celebration of Life, it'll come up.
Wow, that's super cool. So check that out. All right, I'm not sure. Hope everything is okay. These things happen occasionally, Zommers, and as I was trying, they want us to do teases, right? They want us to like titillate people to get your senses going, so you keep your radios on. So I thought, well, it'd be kind of a funny tease if I tease this next piece as a threesome, a political threesome. But like every other threesome in my life, this one is not worked out. So anyway, this great story in Wisconsin Watch entitled "Special Prosecutor Weighing Whether to Criminally Charge Outagamie County Judge Mark McGinnis jailed a man who had an unrelated money dispute with a courthouse employee. And look, now here to talk all about it is the author of said article, right on time. I love it. Tom Kircher of Wisconsin Watch. Tom, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Sorry if I had a little user error there.
No worries at all. Just it's always. Well, we're always happy to have you whenever you're able to join. Like I say, we played a little a cut from the Euchre celebration yesterday while we were waiting. And did you watch any of that or listen to the game yesterday?
Just kind of bit on the radio.
Yeah, it was really, really fantastic. Well, let's get to the matters at hand here. You can find Tom's work and everybody else's at wisconsinwatch.org. So explain this a little bit, Tom, because I was fascinated by this when I first read a little bit about it. You have 3 different counties. You have a judge. You have a contractor. You have a prosecutor. It seems like a mess and rather unprecedented. I guess something can't be rather unprecedented, but as near as we can tell, we haven't heard of this before. Explain to the layperson, Tom, the basis of this story.
Right. So what makes this unprecedented, as best we can tell, is that a sitting judge is under a criminal investigation for actions he took on the bench from the courtroom. So, there have been cases over the years where a judge might commit a crime outside of their job, completely unrelated to being a judge, and they're prosecuted like any of the rest of us. But in this case, you have a judge taking action in the courtroom from the bench, and now those actions are being investigated by a special prosecutor.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, keep me honest. We have Outagamie County Circuit Court Judge Mark McGinnis. And Outagamie County, for those that don't know, kind of the Appleton area. The special prosecutor is La Crosse District Attorney Tim Grunke. From the other side of the state. So how does a prosecutor from La Crosse end up going after a judge at Outagamie County?
Yeah, well, you could imagine that it would be awkward, to say the least, or really a conflict of interest for the prosecutor in Outagamie County to try to investigate a judge that prosecutor appears before regularly. So you want someone objective, right? So what happened initially was that the State Department of Justice began a criminal investigation about Judge McGinnis and decided to seek a special prosecutor. Went to Outagamie County. The district attorney there said that would be a conflict of interest for me to investigate a judge that works in the same courthouse as I do. So a request was put in, and the district attorney from La Crosse County was chosen. Again, someone who's not in contact with Judge McGinnis on a regular basis.
So this all stems, and again, keep me honest, the judge, McGinnis, had jailed a cement contractor, Tyler Barth, in December 2021 over a private dispute that was not a matter before the court. And I think that's
Right.
where it gets really intriguing.
That's right.
Is this wasn't like, hey, this guy has charges against him. He was arrested on suspicion of something. He just showed up in a court and the judge in something completely unrelated said, you're going in the clink.
That's essentially correct. So Tyler Barth, the contractor you mentioned, did have a criminal case pending. So he did have a case in front of Judge McGinnis, but it was a routine probation review. Hey, are you following the rules of your probation for the criminal case? And during this review hearing, Judge McGinnis said, hey, I've heard that you stole some money from somebody. You need to pay it back right now, or I'm going to put you in jail. And he ordered the contractor to be jailed for 90 days when the contractor said, no, I can't come up with thousands of dollars instantly.
I just find that weird because I've never heard of going to court, showing up in court, and then having something brought, up, to put it really down in layman's terms, to have the judge bring something up that you didn't know was going to be brought up to you. You don't have an attorney there to defend you on these charges. It's just, wait a minute, I was here for something else, and now you're bringing this in. I mean, do judges, we're talking to Tom Kircher from Wisconsin Watch, and you're reporting, Tom, do judges in Wisconsin have that ability?
Well, generally speaking, it sounds like something that cannot be done. There's due process there. We have principles in our system where there has to be due process, probable cause. If I'm going to accuse you of a crime, I need to bring forth a complaint and have you charged or at least arrested before you would appear before a judge, and then be notified of, hey, here's what you're accused of doing. Here's the initial evidence against you, and then be able to, bring your own case and fight for yourself. In this case, as you said, it was unrelated, completely different matter. The judge says he was informed that the contractor had stolen money. Essentially that was a private dispute. It was a dispute between the contractor and a customer. A down payment was made, work was to be done, wasn't clear, what was supposed to happen exactly. But the judge, based on hearsay, based on something he had been told, put Tyler Barth in jail on a 90-day order. 3 days later, he was released. There was an attorney in Fond du Lac who heard about this and how unusual it was able to get a hearing before the same judge, McGinnis, and McGinnis released Tyler Barth after 3 days.
So the guy gets out after 3 days, after essentially having no chance to defend himself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is still going on. I mean, you talk about your own story here, but from what I read here, that the contractor, he's trying to seek legal advice. Hey, can I go after this judge? Well, pretty hard to go against a sitting judge, as it turns out.
Yeah, he did contact an attorney in Madison to see whether he could sue. That attorney told him he thought it would be a high bar to try to do that. So what's pending right now is for the special prosecutor to decide whether to file criminal charges against the judge for what the judge did in court. And he's indicated he would decide within the next several days whether he's going to file charges or not. But again, what's extraordinary is that there would be a criminal case against a sitting judge. It's one thing for a complaint to be made about a judge in court, checked out civilly by a judicial commission, but something else altogether to have it be a criminal case.
Can you come back here just a minute, finish this up? All right, stay tuned or finish this up, and Tom will answer the question. Does your kid have to exercise in Wisconsin schools? He'll give us the answer on the other side. It's the Allbaugh Show on Civic Media. And we're clear.
All right. I apologize. I was waiting for some kind of a alert from you guys, and I realized I hadn't
it's fine.
clicked all the way through, so I was just sitting and
it's all good.
Sitting
it's all good.
Patiently and goofed it up myself. So.
We vamped a little bit.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's fine.
Do you want to, when we come back, finish up on the judge, or just move to?
Yeah, let's finish up. Let's just make sure we resolve that and tie up any loose ends on that.
Okay.
I like your line here. Legal experts agree judges have an unparalleled latitude for taking away someone's liberty, especially if the person is on probation, but invoking criminal penalties to compel action in an unrelated dispute goes way beyond the judge's lawful authority. So I think it's just, I mean, what I find the the spooky similarities to this to what's going on to a lot of brown folks in this country right now, with people taking actions without due process. So, it happens to a white dude in Wisconsin, and he's out in 3 days. There's a lot of brown folks in America who are in Uganda, as it turns out.
Or soon to be.
Yeah. And then we can get into the briefs.
Yeah, that sounds good.
There was a time when barbecue was perfect. A strong, reliable flavor that could be counted on. But then big manufacturers decided that barbecue needed to be zesty or spicy or sweeter or whatever. If you miss the good old days of great tasting barbecue, we'd like to introduce you to Grandpa's Barbecue. Made in small batches from Grandpa's original recipe. Buy yours online today.
And Ted's question is on this story, Zommers?
I
All right,
love
yeah.
playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand.
Have you been to the stadium for the Brewers this year or not?
A couple of times, yeah. I was not there yesterday. I watched it and listened to it. Went back and forth yesterday. It was just
30 seconds.
so powerful. But they're so fun to watch. Have you been there this year yet?
Yeah, about 6 times, which is quite a bit for me.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
good stuff.
Or save up to $400 on an adjustable.
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 8 minutes now before the hour of 3 o'clock. At the top of the hour, ABC or CBS News, depending upon which of our great stations you're listening to. A weather update. Headline: Fall has arrived a little early. And also, the great Mike Clemens will be in with a sports update. The Brewers tribute to Bob Uecker last night. Unfortunately, they did not get the win. They are in action, though, once again tonight, taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks at AmFam Field. Pregame show at 6:05 across many of these stations. Right now, talking with Tom Kircher of WisconsinWatch.org. That's WisconsinWatch.org. Here's the deal. You've got a judge in Outagamie County, Circuit Court Judge Mark McGinnis, who put a contractor in jail, Tyler Barth, because he was there on a probation, basically a checkup in court. And the judge said, hey, a lot of people are saying that you took some money from somebody, puts him in the clink, and then now you've got a La Crosse district attorney who is looking into this. The guy got out, and we're going to wrap the story up here in a minute. But first of all, we have Ted calling in from Appleton with a question on this. Ted, thanks for calling. What's your question?
Yeah, if I remember right, when the first article came out up here, it stated that McGinnis actually knew the complainant, who the contractor supposedly took the money from. Mm-hmm. And that's when it all started rolling downhill for the contractor. He's from Hortonville, I believe. And McGinnis is you could say a crooked. He's big time mega, and our town got messed up from him twice. So
fascinating. Ted, I appreciate the call. Thanks for listening. And Tom, your story in here, you point out that the La Crosse special prosecutor, this district attorney, Grunke, is a Democrat. So now you have this. I mean, now you got politics coming into this, right?
Well, technically, judges in Wisconsin are nonpartisan, so
Technically, yeah.
it's not as direct as the district attorney. They're elected by party. But two things to look for in this case. One, so again, we expect in the coming days for the La Crosse DA, the special prosecutor, to decide whether to file criminal charges against the Outagamie judge for what he did in court. Another possibility, though, would be that the State Judicial Commission, which monitors judges' conduct, would take up the case as well. And that's a far more common situation. That wouldn't be a criminal matter. If the Judicial Commission looked at it, they would consider whether to do a reprimand or some type of action against the judge, or nothing at all. But that's right now we're looking to see whether there'll be criminal charges.
I think it's a great story. Follow, you guys do a great job at Wisconsin Watch. I know you're going to keep on this. I know you don't do a lot of opinion, so I will do that for a moment. What's intriguing to me is just not just your great reporting, but the parallels between what's happening to you and this guy in the story. The contractor happens to be a white dude from Wisconsin. There's a lot of brown permanent residents, people, and American citizens in this country who are having a lot longer jail times and being sent to Uganda and El Salvador because of a lack of due process. And I think the bottom line is the allegations here is this guy did not receive due process in the Wisconsin court of law. So great reporting, and I appreciate you doing that. All right, let's go quickly. We got 3 minutes here. And this is a great segment we do with Tom. Wisconsin briefs, so this is not a comment on either one of our underwear, briefs or boxers, but news briefs. And here we go with one where you take a question and you give us the lowdown, Tom. This one on exercise and K-12 education.
Yeah, this came up recently. Actually, former Governor Walker mentioned something on X about kids in Wisconsin not being required to exercise, and gave us a cause to look into that. He's essentially correct. So kids in school in Wisconsin are required to have physical education classes. The number of hours will vary depending on how the child is, but that's a requirement to attend those classes, not necessarily exercise. So for example, your Phy Ed class might include some tennis instruction, but he would like to see more actual play of tennis. So there's not actually a requirement for exercise.
Scott Walker would like to see more tennis playing in Wisconsin. Have I got
Those
that
are,
right?
well, that's an example of giving myself. But yes, he wants to see
because I think if any of
exercise.
us have known the former governor or been around him a lot, the first thing you would think of is athlete when you see Scott Walker.
I mean, to be fair, he did talk about childhood obesity, which is in Wisconsin is higher than in most states, and so I guess that's the context here. But
I'll say this: I will challenge the former governor to a 100-yard dash right now, Scott. I would love to see how that would go down. I mean, of all the things you're going to require people to do in this state, I mean, we could. Speaking for myself, we could all use more exercise, but I don't know. I think once again the governor's trying to get a little popular, get some free press on that. But interesting. Granted, Tom, you bring us the facts whether I like them or not. So yes, kids have to go to physical education. No, they don't necessarily have to quote unquote exercise
for any particular prescribed amount of time. That's right.
All right. To paraphrase Bill Clinton, it depends on what your definition of exercise is.
Exercise is. I think that's right.
All right, well, it's great talking to you, Tom. Anything we got about less than a minute here? Anything else in your mind you want to talk about?
Just to put out a call to folks, at Wisconsin Watch, we're not a daily news operation. We're not running around posting lots of stories every day. We try to take a step back and do larger investigative pieces. So if folks feel like there's something out there that's not being covered sufficiently in the news media, we always appreciate email suggestions and go to wisconsinwatch.org. Let us know what you think we should be investigating. We'd appreciate it.
It's a great publication, wisconsinwatch.org. Tom Kircher, great reporter. Thank you, Tom. We appreciate you. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
You're welcome. You too.
Our pleasure. Come on back on the other side. A little what's worse for you. Maybe get in some last potato salad or coleslaw over Labor Day weekend. We'll discuss it. Don't go anywhere. It's the Allbaugh Show after this. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you.
All
Have
right.
a wonderful afternoon.
Hey, thanks. Sorry
right,
again
yep.
for being late. We'll make sure
You're
I'm
good. You're good.
on time next time.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, man. Bye.
Scott Walker wants more tennis.
Released from a detention facility in Tennessee.
If we only had more tennis.
Abrego Garcia was ordered Monday to report to immigration agents in Baltimore. Outside those offices, supporters gathered. Garcia threw a translator.
I want to thank each and every one of you who marched, lift your voices, never stopped praying,
Dirty
and continue
love.
to fight in my name.
His attorney says they're suing the government
to ensure that he is not put on any flight to any country whatsoever.
Garcia denies
Lord.
allegations by Homeland Security
Oh,
that he's
Lord,
a gang
it's
member,
hard
human
to be
trafficker, and more.
ABC's Chuck Sievertson. Authorities in
Other
Arizona,
recent fact
Iowa,
briefs
and
from
Arkansas
Tom
reporting
Kircher.
incidents
Does
at
China dominate
universities
global
today
drone
involving what
markets?
federal law
You're going to be
enforcement
shocked by
referred to
this
as
one.
swatting,
Yes,
making false
of
claims
course
there's
they
an
do.
active shooter on campus.
As it turns out.
Dangerous
They
heat
have the
alerts
infrastructure
stretching
to make all the
across parts of
drones.
West with fire crews battling wildfires in California. This is C News.
Download the Civic Media app in the Google
Does a
Play or Apple
2025
App Store
federal
and
law
take
cut
us
funding for some
everywhere.
emergency
This
broadcast
is the
alerts?
Civic Media
Also,
Radio
yes.
Network.
Yes, it turns out yes.
Project 2025, 2024, whatever the heck it is at work.
For WMDX 92.7 News, I'm Shelly Pittman, filling in for Savannah Tomei Olson. The Madison Metropolitan School District is keeping its current grading system. Right now, grades for MMSD students don't add extra weight to more difficult classes like advanced placement or honors courses. The district had looked at switching to a different system. They surveyed students and families about a switch. They also reviewed policies from other districts.
I have so many things I
talked
could
with other
tease,
local
but
high
I just
schools
can't.
and colleges. In
For
a
tomorrow?
statement on Friday,
No, for later.
an MMSD spokesperson said they would keep the unweighted grading
Also,
system.
do you know what we
They
want
say
to...
keeping it supports
Oh, yeah.
equity.
Yeah, we got to do that
I
sooner
gotta
than
do
later.
a thing, everybody. I gotta do a thing.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. What are we gonna talk about? All right. 3, 2, and 1. Hey, everybody, join us next time as when we, I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 2, and 1. Hey, everybody, join us next time as we get in that last week of summer. The legislature is coming back to Madison after Labor Day. We'll preview some of their agenda on the next show. Join us. Join us tomorrow to find out whether we actually
And
do
the
that.
Madison Public Library will offer special edition library cards.
But it
next
sounds
month to
good.
celebrate
It
its
sounds good.
150th year.
It sounds like it'd be a
December
fun
is
show.
Library Card sign-up month, and if you don't have one, you can get a special edition card. If you already have a library card, you can replace it starting in October while supplies last. This is WMDX 92.7 News, filling in for Savannah Tomei Olson. I'm Shelly Pittman.
It's the Brewers in Arizona. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, the Brewers beginning a 4-game series tonight at American Family Field against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The D-backs still have a small chance at a wild card spot. They've been hit with injuries to their pitching staff. Lefty Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for Arizona against right-handed veteran Brandon Woodruff for the Brewers. The crew celebrating Bob Uecker yesterday to a sold-out stadium. The Brewers losing to the Giants 4-3. San Francisco winning this series 2-1. NFL roster changes underway. The Packers trading
I don't think I am, by the way. I
the
just like that song.
Philadelphia Eagles for
What were you
offensive
singing?
tackle Darian Kennard,
Oh,
6'5",
Lord,
322
humble.
pounds. Originally
When you're
drafted by the
perfect
Chiefs 3
in
years
every
ago,
way.
the Packers must reduce
You
the
know what your
roster from
band
90 to
sings that.
53 players by tomorrow afternoon.
And now, obviously, a lot of decisions have to be made, and this is always kind of a bittersweet time. You got to say goodbye to a lot of guys that have busted their butt for months and months.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. With Sports on Mike Clemens.
Hey!
Jeff Perry gets a kick listening to recording the promos.
Because if Jeff Perry were doing it, it'd be one take every time.
Crisp and comfortable today, well below average. With highs
But
cooling
I,
to
on the other
the
hand,
uppers.
take several takes
Still
normal.
breezy out there. Clear skies tonight, low slide to the upper 40s. And tomorrow, still staying cool. Highs flirting with 70. And the next chances for rain hold off until Wednesday night. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Right now, 67 degrees.
where working people come to talk. It's the Rick Smith Show.
If I wanted to, I could always throw them off by playing sound effects. And I could also play them in the bus that Todd hears, but not the one that gets recorded.
Oh, really?
So it would just be really confusing for anybody hearing that.
Fairness, grit, and no apology.
I have enough problems keeping my life straight in more ways than one. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. To clarify.
On the Civic Media Radio Network.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high
30
school
seconds.
diploma,
Gracias.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh along with Mr. Aaron Summers on the board, our producer and engineer. Wait, I thought he had regular ears. No, he has engineers.
That's what they tell me, at least.
That's an old Ray Schrader joke. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. It is the 25th of August, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. 6 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Welcome into hour number 2 of the big program here at the world headquarters of Civic Media in downtown Madison, where it is a gorgeous Boy George day here in downtown. Blue skies, high fluffy clouds. Look at that shot, Summers, on the old Sam Davidson street cam as we look out there for those watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Beautiful, beautiful blue skies in downtown Madison. The trees are still green, although there's a hint of maybe a change of color in some of them. And pretty quiet right now, although we've seen over the course of the afternoon lots of what appears to be college students and their parents right now. Big drop-off weekend this past weekend here in Madison. Big drop-off week. You know, some of the dorm they're moving people in. My own niece, my favorite youngest niece, Isabel, moved into UW Stout this weekend. So now my sister and brother-in-law are officially and technically empty nesters. So how
For
about
the
that?
time being. Usually I feel like people move back in for at least a little bit.
Maybe, perhaps. We shall see. Anyway, gonna be a big hour this week, or this. That's right. It's going to be a big hour this week. We're going to do 1 hour and just repeat that hour all week long. No, it's going to be a big hour in this hour here on this show. A little bit later, talk about some national headlines in Washington, D.C., and Trump saying he's going to expand his armed military occupation beyond Washington, D.C., and this is like coming headlines, coming to a city near you, coming attractions, Chicago, the Windy City, next up on the list. He also mentioned New York. So we'll talk about that and why I feel that Wisconsin will not be too far behind and what it could mean for all of us. So we'll discuss that and Wisconsin takes on that as well. What else? Well, we'll do a little bit more Bob Uecker before the end of the show. Of course, Bob Uecker, the Tribute of Life celebration yesterday at AmFam Field. And once again, just many thanks and congrats and bravo to the director and producers of Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, Sean Hanisch and Kelly Call, respectively, for their great work on this tribute yesterday. The video and audio was all done, compiled, edited by them, by Kelly and Sean, and it was just amazing. So Thanks, guys. So we'll talk a little bit about Euchre once again before we leave here, and a couple other state and national headlines. What was I going to say, Zommers? I wanted to get to something. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I can't believe this, but this week is the kickoff to college football. Can you believe that, Zommers?
It is, I guess. I don't know. I've never really paid that much attention to college football, to be honest.
Boy, you can't buy loyalty like that. Let me just tell you.
It's not lack of loyalty. It's that I just don't know. I'm not an expert.
I guess.
I've never been big on.
We're going on 3 years of doing this show together. I mean, it's college, it's sports, it's in the air.
I follow it for the show. I don't remember when it starts though.
It's like the Red Green Show. I can follow college sports if I have to, I guess.
No, it is. I was missing out before that.
I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm just goofing around. Here's good news. You can hear the Wisconsin Badger home opener this Thursday.
Actually,
it's
I'm going
not
to
Friday. Are you? Wait a minute. You have no clue about the opening of college football, and then it's like, wait a minute, I have tickets. I'm going.
Yeah, I forgot. Over the weekend, one of my roommates was like, hey, you want to go to the game this Thursday at 8 o'clock or whatever? And I was like, oh, sure. Why not?
Well, I got nothing else
And then
to
when you
do.
mentioned that it's on Thursday, I remembered.
Normally, the opener is on Saturday. It has been on Friday since all the TV stuff of the Big Ten. And now, and this is not necessarily a compliment, by the way, to Wisconsin football, they're being pushed to the Thursday night game and the late game at that. Wisconsin, Miami, the ever tough Miami of Ohio is going to be visiting the Wisconsin Badgers at Camp Randall this Thursday. You can hear the games all season long on several of our civic media stations, including WRCE in Richland Center, WLAK in beautiful Amory, WFHR in Wisconsin Rapids, we were just up there last week, and WRPN 93.1 FM and 1600 AM in Ripon, Wisconsin, home of Ripon Good Cookies. Well, it was. I believe they are no longer there. May they rest in peace. Used to drive through Ripon a lot, and you could stop at the Ripon Good Cookies, like outlet store or factory store, and you get fresh cookies, like right out of the oven. It was fantastic. I know, right? Anyway, Wisconsin hosting Miami, Ohio this Thursday at 6 p.m. Now, there's talk we may do a special on-location broadcast, but we'll see if that works out. We'll be for sure here in the studio on location. We may be somewhere else.
Either way, we're pretty close.
This is the kind of week I like because you just never know what's going to happen next. It's very, very exciting.
Todd likes to go on the high wire without a safety net.
Yeah, why not? Biggest rush of the day. Anyway, it's going to be a great. I'm not my own personal prediction. I have a lot of concerns about Wisconsin football, but I truly hope that I'm absolutely wrong. And I hope that the Badgers and the Badger fans and the callers at the end of the season call in and say, Todd, you knucklehead, you didn't know anything about Wisconsin Badger football. So we'll see. Regardless, it's always great. There's always hope and optimism at the beginning of the year. Badgers have the full season, a lot of opportunity, have, by all accounts, the toughest schedule in Division I college football this fall, taking on Ohio State, Oregon, Alabama, amongst other teams. So going to be exciting. And you can kick it. Literally, it'll kick off this Thursday, starting the pregame show at 6 o'clock. I think the actual kickoff is like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's something crazy late like that.
Will we see you on Friday the 29th?
You will. I'll be awake
because
enough.
Some shows are taking the day off, and I thought, well, why not? We'll be here anyway. We might as well do a show. And I thought, well, that'll be fun because we can discuss, what happened the night before, and you will have been at the game now.
I will have more information than I otherwise would.
You can give us on the location reporting what it was like, what it smelled like, what it felt like.
Yeah, I got to bring a microphone and record it live and be like, it smells like sweat and beer.
This could be a great segment. Zommers at football. I think that'd actually be pretty fun.
It'd be interesting. I sure don't have any sports broadcasting experience, so it would be.
Which makes it all the better. Do you understand?
Right.
That makes it all the better. All right, it's 15 minutes past the hour at 3 o'clock. Time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that, this or that. Then, of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this
Once again for What's Worse. Nothing to give away, no prize. What do you boast? Your chance to have your voice heard on our 10 news, talk, and sports network stations. Well, ish. Because, no, the Brewers don't play till later on. So, yes, all 10 are listening to us, or at least we're playing on all 10 right now. Last I heard. All right, well, this is Mike Lucas. And here's news. We're getting ready for the big Idea Festival.
Yeah.
Some people call it Idea Fest.
I believe that is the actual name.
I created that word, Idea Fest. Nobody ever heard of it before. Everybody said festival, then I said Idea Fest.
Festival is kind of an old-fashioned word.
Old-fashioned. So I just call it Idea Fest. It's catching on. Here's the deal. Idea Fest, co-sponsored by our friends over at the Capital Times and us. Well, not ours, but Civic Media. And they bring in a lot of politicians, important people, a couple of light theologians that spar, and that's a lot of fun. This year, they're adding broadcasters. And Tom Oates and Mike Lucas, two great sports writers, are going to be at Idea Fest. So if we put the request in, because they got like Shirley Abrams, they got Stacey Abrams is coming in. They got Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. They got geez, I'm ticked off. Jeepers Creepers, Tony Evers is going to be there, the governor of Wisconsin. I said, no. I don't want the politicians. I want to talk to Oates and Lucas. And so that's the request. Wouldn't that be fun? Because we quote him a lot when we say timely indeed. The was coined
every day. You quote
coined by Mike Lucas. So timely indeed. A lot of people are going to be tailgating on Thursday, Zombers. You might be out there tailgating for the Badger game. A lot of people are going to be traveling this week and weekend for Labor Day weekend. Can't believe it's coming up already this weekend. And so there's going to be a lot of picnicking. And people get very scared of these two items at picnics, especially during the summer. So what's worse? The category today, what's worse? Potato salad or coleslaw? Potato salad or coleslaw? I like calling it potato salad.
To really pronounce it, enunciate.
Some people will just say tater salad. Potato salad or coleslaw? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Give us a ring-a-ling. Tell us what you think is better. Potatoes, or what's worse? Todd, this segment is called What's Worse. Thank you. What's worse, potato salad or coleslaw? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Or you can text us on the Civic Media app. What's that, you say? Well, go to your app store on your Apple or Android device. Type in Civic, CIVIC Media. It'll pop up. You'll see the cute little CM logo. Download it. Takes less than a minute. It is free. It's what CBS's Gail King calls a deal. The Civic Media app. Text us on that. What's worse? It is potato salad or coleslaw. Should we do this now, or can you get it in before we have
a minute and a half?
All right, minute and a half. Let's go to the phone lines. Our old friend and ongoing contributor, Jeff Perry. Jerry Petty, I ask you, what's worse, potato salad or coleslaw?
Is this a contest? Did I win? So the
there is no prize money to give away. We stand up front. But anyway, go ahead, caller.
Okay. So I'm not a huge fan of either, but I've got to say that coleslaw is worse.
Why?
Cabbage is the main reason why.
Really? You're anti-cabbage? You're anti-cabbage?
I'm not so much anti-cabbage as I am pro-potato, Todd. Let's put
you're pro-potato.
I respect that.
Would you ever, well, you're a married man, but if you weren't, would you date a Mrs. Potato?
Certainly. Yeah.
Even though she's a married woman?
I'm a married spud. I'm a married spud.
Oh, so you're saying what? Coleslaw is worse, you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, because he's pro potato.
Thank you, by the way, earlier for plugging my show. That was very sweet
Yes,
of you. And my show
on
is
VMO.
the opposite of an idea fest, by the way.
Come on back. More of this show, I think, on the Civic Media Radio Network. That was fantastic.
Great
Thank you,
conversation.
Jeffrey.
92.7 WMDX.
You know Ignite Glass and Gifts 3 locations.
The
in
opposite
Madison, but
of
you
an
can also
idea
shop
fest, you said.
IgniteGlassandGifts.com. You'll find grinders, lighters, collectibles,
Fun grinder.
hand-blown glass water pipes, artistically designed jewelry, and plenty of other items delivered straight to your door or to family and friends. Madison's favorite for glass, gifts, and vape. Ignite Glass and Gifts. Monona Drive, Williamson Street, and Odana Road. Plus, IgniteGlassandGifts.com.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government buy-in for the people. Recent estimates put Mississippi's black population at around 37%. Of Mississippi's former and current 104 state Supreme Court justices, only 4 have been African American, including only 1 of 9 sitting justices. An August 19th ruling from a federal Fifth Circuit District Court may change that. Mississippi has 3 state Supreme Court voting districts and 9 justices, with 3 justices elected from each district. Of the black justices who served, all were appointed by governors first before being later re-elected. Senior U.S. District Judge Sherian Aycock considered the demographics, including the citizen voting age population and black voting
Did you
age
know
population,
Nat King
and
Cole
past
has
Supreme
songs
Court
about
based
both
outcomes,
potato salad and
determined the
coleslaw?
current maps
I did not
included
know that.
black voting power. She ruled the districts violated the Voting Rights Act Section 2 by splitting the state's Delta region in 2, a historically heavy concentration of black voters. The legislature must now draw new districts, at least one with a chance for black voters to elect the candidate of their choice. In May, the legislature submitted new House and Senate districts after a Fifth Circuit appeals panel found earlier maps 2 were violations. As a result, special elections for 15 legislative seats are scheduled for November 4th. We have the August 19th decision at AmericanDemocracyMinute.org. I'm Brian Beal.
Found an injured, sick, or orphaned wild animal? Dane County Humane Society's Wildlife Center can help. Call 608-287-3235.
Here we go.
Some folks like their potatoes liney, some prefer french fries. But I like mine fixed with mayonnaise, coleslaw on the side. Solid potato salad, that's solid salad, Jack. Solid potato salad, boy. I take my plate, fill it up, bring right back. Solid
Now
potato
the show
salad,
has got some class to
and
it.
let's have
Nat
no
King
yak-yak.
Cole for you. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 22 past the hour of 3 o'clock. What did you dial up, Aaron Summers?
That is Solid Potato Salad by Nat King Cole.
I did not know that existed.
Not only does this song mention coleslaw, he also has another song as part of the King Cole trio, the Nat King Cole trio, called Coleslaw. So apparently these are topics that
we'll
he
dial
liked.
that up because we'll hear from that. In my opinion, one of the greatest, most talented artists of all time, American artist, Nat King Cole. I just
Absolutely.
think just an absolute phenomenal talent. On the lighter side, what's worse, potato salad or coleslaw is the category today. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Megan in Sun Prairie on the text line on WMDX says, coleslaw is the worst. I've never liked it. Well, just wait. I'll hold my thoughts because I have some thoughts on everything, but particularly coleslaw. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Mona in Madison, listening on WMDX. Mona, potato salad or coleslaw, what's worse?
Potato salad, 100%. I got ptomaine at a picnic, some potato salad when I was a little kid, and I won't touch the stuff. Coleslaw, I only like if it's made with vinegar and not mayo. I can't stand it. If it's creamy, I want to have the sweet and soury one.
Yeah, I'm pretty much. I'll share more later, but I'm not too far away from you on that one, Mona. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Jim, listening on WAUK out of Brookfield, Wisconsin. Jim, potato salad or coleslaw? What's worse?
I think a potato salad is worse, okay, but I do want to say I'm not a mayo guy, so I'm not a big fan of either. However, if you make a coleslaw that's got a stronger vinegar base and easy mayo, it can be crispy and very good. So I would have to say the potato salad's worse because it's often heavy on the mayo. I do want to say my wife makes a really good potato salad, though. Instead of mayo, uses avocado, almost like a guac. Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah. So, avocado potato salad. You mash up the avocado, and that's your base, and some lime, and you put that in with the potatoes, the cooked potatoes, and it's really very enjoyable, very good.
That sounds really good. Thank you, Jim. You got a cooking tip out of Jim and everything. Great. I appreciate it, Jim. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thanks for listening in beautiful Brookfield. I never thought of that before, but yeah, I mean, avocado, if you get it, it can be very creamy if it's the right consistency and everything. And then I would think you would want to put like a, not parboiled, but a firmer potato chunks in with that avocado. And I can see that being really, really good. Thanks, Jim. I got to try that. The category for what's worse, potato salad or coleslaw. Bill, watching on YouTube, says, depends on what kind of potato salad. Mine is German potato salad. That is better than coleslaw. By the way, I'm German. All right. Thank you, Bill. We appreciate that. There's something to that as well. I would agree that a really heavy mayo-based potato salad, I want some. I like a good mustard kick in my potato salad, and egg as well. Egg and mustard.
Having those is good, but I also do think that German potato salad is better. Maybe that's just because my grandma makes really good German potato salad.
Yeah. That's the old Bernsteads. People remember Bernsteads used to be around. They used to make, it was named after one of their employees, like Katie's Potato Salad or something at Bernsteads. We don't have Bernsteads anymore. That's what's wrong with America.
That's the
we
only
don't
thing.
have Bernsteads anymore. You used to go in and mark the top of the can with a grease pencil. It was quite the thing. 855-752-4842. Matt in Middleton says store-bought is pretty bad for both, but coleslaw is worse. Often watery and made of veggies that are left over from the salad bar. Ooh, gross.
Store-bought coleslaw does seem that way a lot of the time.
Yeah. What else we got here? Anything else on the text line here? PJ on YouTube says coleslaw is worse because there's never been a potato salad that I didn't like. All right, very good. Anything else?
I believe we're about caught up on
the
those.
text line as well. We're all caught up there. All right, Summers. A potato salad or coleslaw, Aaron Summers. What's worse?
I think I have to agree with Jeff Perry that I think coleslaw is worse, but not because I'm anti-coleslaw, because I am pro-potato. That I love potato-based foods. I do love coleslaw, though. But yeah, I think I have to go with coleslaw just because I'm such a big fan of potatoes.
This is a hard one for me. There are a lot of bad coleslaws. I mean, some of the restaurants you go to, it's like very industrialized, I'll call it, coleslaw, where the cabbage is basically like in chunks, like you would mince an onion.
Yes.
And it's like that. And then it's like in soupy, milky water with a couple of bad carrots in it.
Yeah, that's not good.
And it has no flavor, and I hate it. Now, I'm with the caller, this Mona earlier. I like a vinegar-based coleslaw that has a little oregano in it. In El Salvador, they call it curtido, which is, not really like American coleslaw at all. But I've had more American coleslaws with the vinegar. I like a par-boiled or a par-cooked cabbage that's kind of in strands, thinly sliced. I love that. I have had some good creamier coleslaws that have a little bit of the vinegar kick in it. That's good as well. Potato salad, again, I like it more on the mustardy side and vinegary side with a little mayo and egg in it. But all that said, because there are more bad coleslaws in America than potato salad, I'm going to say coleslaw is worse.
Yeah, so very similar.
Unless it's made correctly, which is harder to do. All right, let's listen to a little Nat King Cole on the way out. Farm update with the Midwest Farm Report. Pam Yankee is next. Going to come back and talk about what's happening in D.C. and why it might be coming to a city near you. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Real news and great
Boy,
conversation.
could listen to that all afternoon.
That one was coleslaw. Spelled as 2 words.
Connecting audiences,
because Nat
powering
King
brands.
Cole,
This
coleslaw.
is Civic Media. Learn more at civicmedia.us/advertise.
Farmers are doing some pre-harvest
Oh,
work, getting ready
Bob
to get in
Jarbo.
the field, and some of that work may include buying new equipment. I'm Ben Jarbo with the
Ben
Midwest
Jarbo,
Farm
sorry.
Report, and Matt Gavin, one of the owners
Another guy I
of
could listen
Gavin
to all
Bros
afternoon.
Auctions, is here to give a look into what is currently being bought at the auctions.
We've seen a lot of compact tractors have been selling well. You get the smaller farmers, which is really popular around our area, as well as guys that are looking for like food plot type of machinery. So that kind of smaller
You know who
size
else is
equipment has
speaking
been selling
at
very well.
Idea Fest?
Matt mentioned skid steers.
Satya Rhodes
Of course,
Conway.
they afford a lot of uses with construction people as well as farmers.
Ben Wickler?
So skid steers have been selling well. And otherwise, just general things, UTVs,
Here's a headline
quality,
from CNN.
Used machinery is
The
still
regular listeners of this program will get a
Gavin
kick
also
out of.
says that this good used
DNC
equipment
chair is
going
facing a
for
belief
pretty
among
penny
some
right
donors
now.
and party
For the
figures
Midwest Farm Report,
that
I'm Ben Jarbo,
he's
and
not
we'll
the
take a
right
look at
leader
closing
for the
markets
moment.
right after this.
Who said that? Your least favorite Martin?
That some donors and party figures are now
Get your
saying
calves up and moving with
that
BioVet's calf
my
electrolytes.
least favorite
Our
Martin,
Baselite product
the
contains
DNC
balanced
chair,
electrolytes for restoring
might
and
not
maintaining
be the
proper
right
fluid
leader for
levels
this
in scouring
moment.
calves.
Really?
No, that's
Baselite
I'm
also
just saying that they
provides
would think
additional
that.
energy
I'm
to support
shocked, I
recovery.
tell you.
It's easy to mix, and calves are easy to drink it down to the last drop. Learn more about Baselite at
So we're using the
bio-vet.com.
Soviet Union national anthem on our way in, right?
No,
I'm kidding.
let's not.
I'm not going to do that.
Unique farming operations need unique financial solutions. Egg Country Farm Credit Services offers customized financing that fits any size farm, ranch, or agribusiness. The next time you're in the market for more land, equipment, facilities, or maybe even an operating loan, contact the team at Egg Country. They know agriculture and will work for you. Egg Country. Focused on ag, focused on you. Egg Country is an equal opportunity lender.
Welcome back. I'm Ben Jarbo with the Midwest Farm Report. Now let's take a look at how the markets closed this Monday. Corn closed with small gains, with cash corn up a penny at $3.89 1/4, and new crop corn up
It's got a
3/4
text
of a
on.
penny. at
Remind me to
4.12
show you
1/4.
later.
Soybeans
Okay.
are seeing losses today, with the cash crop down 11 cents at 10.25 and
Did
a
you
half,
see
and new crop down 10
Dana's
3/4 at 10.47 and
text
3/4.
earlier? He
September
said
wheat contracts are up
a
5
tater
cents
salad
at
is what you call a
5.06
Trump
and
rally.
3/4. Class 3 milk is
Oh,
showing
did he
gains,
say
with
that?
September
Did I
contracts
hear
up
that? Oh, I'm
16
sorry.
cents
Well, I
at
thought maybe you
18.43
chose
on
not to read
inflation.
it.
No, I
And
just,
October
I did.
contracts
I'm
up
sorry. I
21 cents
apologize,
at
Dana.
17.96 a hundredweight.
Tater salad.
40-pound blocks of cheese closed up 4.5 at 179 and a half, and AA butter closed up a half a cent at 2.24. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Ben Jarbo.
Reach, engage, grow with Civic Media. Log on
I'm sorry, Dana. I apologize.
civicmedia.us/advertise.
I'll do better.
Crisp and comfortable today, well below average with highs only reaching the upper 60s. Still breezy out there. Clear skies tonight, low slide to the upper 40s. And tomorrow, still staying cool. Highs flirting with 70. And the next chances for rain hold off until Wednesday night. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Right now, 67 degrees.
Hi, my name is Chuck Collins. I'm the great-grandson of the meatpacker Oscar Mayer and a member of the Patriotic Millionaires. I gave away my inheritance in my 20s, and I spent my career studying inequality in America. Do you know that the U.S. is more unequal today than we have been in 100 years? Did you know that in a few years we will have our first
I was
trillionaire, while
driving
about 40%
last night
of
back
Americans
from Richland
working
Center,
full-time don't make enough to support
and as I
themselves,
do
much
occasionally,
less
I like to
family?
hear what's
Did you
out
ever
there.
wonder if maybe
On the radio
just
stations,
maybe
I have
these
Sirius
two things
XM
might
in
be
my truck. I
connected?
listen to a lot of Kenny
A
Chesney,
recent study by the Rand Corporation
No Shoes
estimates
Radio.
that in the
And last night I
50
was dialing
years,
through,
about
there's something
80
called
trillion
Triumph
was
Radio on
redistributed from the
Sirius
bottom
XM.
90%
And I
to
didn't
the
know she
top
was still on the
1%.
air, or she's back on the
So
air.
what,
Dr.
if
Laura
anything,
Schlesinger.
should we do about that?
She, I hadn't heard her in a long.
Millionaire.
Her voice doesn't sound as. I hope she's okay. Not generally my entire cup of tea, but very entertaining radio. Now go take on the day. Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 35 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock on this Monday, August 25th, 2025. Aaron Summers on the board, our producer and engineer. Glad to have you all along. We are broadcasting out of the old world headquarters of Civic Media, downtown Madison. Sunny skies, partly, mostly sunny, we'll call it. People out on the street there on State Street in Fairchild and downtown Madison, walking, riding bikes, enjoying a beautiful. There's a sense of fall, Summers, in the air.
That there is. And
Hi.
yeah, all the extra people help with that, just because that
Right.
happens every time the students move in.
Yeah, absolutely. And high, as they're saying right now, what is it right? 67 degrees right now, which would normally be a high for the end of September. Normal highs right now are like 80 degrees is what the normal high should be for end of August. And we're about a month ahead. So you can figure snow by the 1st of October.
Maybe. Or no snow as we've been having, or
Right.
much less
We'll
than
see.
past years.
We'll see. Was driving back from Richland Center. By the way, I stopped down to our friends, one of our great sponsors here at Civic Media, Kopke's Greenhouse. Our friend Gordy Kopke, who's always kind enough to let us do a show out there in the spring. And we promote their big auction in the spring where they raise money for Memorial Day weekend for the Badger Honor Flights. Great cause. So we try to do our little part and help them out. And so I went down to the town of Dunn in Oregon, just here in Dane County, because fall is upon us and Kopke's is back open for their big fall Lollapalooza. Their fall sales, their fall plant and that sort of thing. And their mums. The mums are back in at Kopke's here in Dane County in the town of Dunn. And so I stopped in. I got a mum. I got some ornamental grasses. I got an ornamental pepper plant. And I guess pumpkins are on the way soon. And that was a lot of fun. And I took some of that up to Mom's in Richland Center and got her all set for fall. We brought out, because as we said on the show before, my mom and Brady Ewing's parents live a house apart in Richland County, in Richland Center. And so we had a garden flag with a white flag with a red motion W. And we wrote in very neat black marker number 34, which was Brady's number. And that has not graced Mom's front lawn since the fall of 2012, which was Brady's senior year at Madison. And she's had it hanging in the garage ever since. And I told her we had a bale of straw, we had a scarecrow and whatever. And so I said, what if we brought this flag out again this year? Because maybe the luck of Brady's teams in 2012 will somehow help us out. And so we put that up. And then I was driving back to Madison last night. And I like to listen to all kinds of radio. And I have Sirius XM in the truck because I listen to a lot of Kenny Chesney's No Shoes radio. And I'll dial around and listen to conservative, progressive, there's all kinds of different talk out there. And they had years ago, I used to listen to her, Dr. Laura Schlesinger. And I think she got in some trouble. I'm not sure what happened. And they took her off the air. Well, she's back on. And there's something called Triumph Radio on Sirius XM. I have no idea what the ideology of that is. But she was on, and her voice sounds a little weaker. I hope she's all right, I guess. And whether you agree with her or disagree with her, very entertaining radio because she gives advice. She's one of these kind of hard line, and somebody's trying to tell. Basically, what happened was this woman had her daughter lives 90 minutes away, and she was driving to see the daughter to help out the kids. And as soon as she would get there, the daughter would be like, "Oh, this is great, but I'm going out with my girlfriends for a wine night tonight, so you need to be gone by 6." And had done this multiple times. And basically the mom was like, should I keep putting up with this? And Dr. Laura's like, no. Look her right in the face and say, I am driving 90 minutes to help you. If you want that, you're not going to shush me out the door. If you don't, that's fine. And she's very hard. And she just tells, I like that. I'm not saying I agree with everything she says, but the point is, it's very entertaining radio.
It's very, Jerry Springer, Dr. Phil-esque.
It's not Jerry Springer. It's more Dr. Phil-esque, I guess.
But either way, or, Judge Judy, this is all a wide spectrum of people bring real problems, and you suggest, varying degrees of
And I'm
quality
not
advice.
saying that I'm going to turn this show into that. No, I'm not really qualified. But wouldn't that be something if I started giving out advice?
We should have some people call in with their problems.
855-752-4842. What can I help you with? I'm listening. There's not a lot of help involved right now out in Washington, D.C. Story today in the Washington Post. And this is something that's happened in D.C., but following it a little bit, other shows have as well. Now it's coming to Chicago. And I believe that in due time, it is set to come to at least some places in Wisconsin, most likely Milwaukee. Because do you remember what Trump said when they were having the RNC, Republican National Convention last year, or leading up to it? Called it, I don't know, Summers, you can look it up and keep me honest, but I think he called it a horrible city or a terrible city.
Terrible is what I remember it being.
And it just kept bagging on Milwaukee. But then they had their convention there.
No, it was horrible.
It was horrible. All right. Horrible. Trump called Milwaukee a horrible city. And we know, those of us that grew up in Wisconsin, those of us that either live in or spend time in Milwaukee, know what a great, vibrant city Milwaukee is. Like any major city, heck, any city, it has its challenges. But there's so much to love about the city of Milwaukee. My guess is at some point, if this continues, you're going to see Trump's militarization move into Milwaukee or other places in Wisconsin. From the Washington Post, headline, Pentagon plans military deployment in Chicago as Trump eyes crackdown. Says the Pentagon has for weeks been planning a military deployment to Chicago as President Donald Trump says he wants to crack down on crime, homelessness, and undocumented immigration, in a model that could later be used in other major cities, officials familiar with the matter said. The planning, which has not been previously disclosed, involves several options, including mobilizing at least a few thousand members of the National Guard as soon as September. That's next week, by the way, to what is the third most populous city in the United States. The mission, if approved, would have parallels to the polarizing and legally contested operation that Trump ordered in Los Angeles in June, when he deployed 4,000 members of the California National Guard and 700 active duty Marines, despite the protests of state and local leaders. The use of thousands of active duty troops in Chicago has also been discussed, but is considered less likely at this time. But two officials who, like others interviewed, spoke on condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the issue. The Chicago effort would further expand Trump's use of military force domestically, even when state and local authorities call the idea unwelcome and unwarranted. Administration officials have defended such deployments, arguing that they are necessary steps to bring back law and order. What's your thoughts on this? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. This comes on the heels, by the way, on Friday, Trump said of his ongoing National Guard intervention in D.C., where more than 2,000 Guard members have been deployed in what he has cast an overdue effort to crack down on crime, he zeroed in on Chicago as his next target, calling Chicago, quote, a mess, unquote. And by the way, last night, those National Guard members who were not armed with guns and weapons with bullets became armed. Pete Hegseth, Defense Secretary, saying that military was trained to use firearms and they should have them. And so now the National Guard troops in D.C. are armed. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Gene up in beautiful Chippewa Valley. The Chippewa Valley, Eau Claire. Gene in Eau Claire, always a pleasure, Gene. What say you?
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys, too. I'll tell you something. This is so disgusting. I strongly recommend people start watching what the devil's going on. The biggest mess I see is in the White House and at the Capitol, and all the chaos and destruction and the BS and the criminality going on right there with the guy who's sending out big-time people to go after American citizens. I have never seen the attack on the United States of America and its citizens as by this guy. Putin and his friends don't need to even come after the United States because they got Trump doing it, causing chaos, tariffs, health care. You name it, that son of a gun is going after it. And I hope people start paying attention and quit blaming Biden. This guy is a lunatic. And I'll tell you something, his lunacy has spread to the Republican Party because the Senate ain't doing nothing about it and the Congress isn't doing anything about it. And I've never seen this in my life. They used to go back and forth, Democrats and Republicans, but I've never seen this party going after the people of the United States, making enemies with both sides, to countries that are neighbors and allies. He's nuts. Anyway,
up
that's my
against the
opinion.
clock. Thanks, Gina. I appreciate you. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Christy, calling in beautiful Deerfield, Wisconsin. Christy, thanks.
Delafield.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. I didn't read it correctly. Christy in Delafield. Almost changed your location, Christy. I apologize. Christy in Delafield. Thanks for calling, Christy. What say you?
Have you seen all of the posts within the last day or so from Gavin Newsom, where he's been comparing the crime rates in various cities, the murder rates in various cities in California with the murder rates in red cities around the country, and California comes out quite favorable by comparison. And I'm thinking that Chicago should plan to put out posters and signs all over the place doing the same thing so that they're inescapable for news media, regardless of which news media, and people get that blasted in their faces that Chicago isn't anywhere near as bad as Arkansas or whatever.
I think that's great, Christy. I appreciate the call. Thanks for your listenership. I haven't seen every single post. I mean, I haven't seen some of these that Newsom is putting out, and that's kind of a whole other kettle of fish on how he's doing this. He's trying to imitate Trump on some of his social media posts to kind of goad the current president and MAGA. Like I said, that's kind of a different issue, in my opinion. But yes, he's trying to get facts out there as well. And I agree with Christy. I mean, I think it would be good for Chicago. I think it's good for Milwaukee, other places where it could be targets for Trump to militarize and get the facts out there ahead of time. Doesn't mean they're going to listen to him, but I think it's important to get it on the record. I have friends and people that still live in D.C., and according to them and other reporters that live there, where Trump is deploying, whether it's the U.S. Marshals or ICE or whomever, the main areas that Trump has put people in D.C., in the district, as they say, it turns out mostly not where the highest crime areas are. And what this is really looking like is an attempt to go after brown folks, in some cases legal immigrants, some places undocumented, and just trying to get rid of those folks. That's what it kind of looks like and feels like. Come back with more of your calls. We'll wrap things up as the Allbaugh Show across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Join the family. Civic Media has a number of great jobs across the state. Open now at civicmedia.us/careers.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. Look, it's probably too early to have a conversation about the 2026 race for governor in Wisconsin, but our readers spoke, and they asked for our take on this, so we delivered an extensive breakdown of who is running and who might be running in both the Democratic and Republican primaries.
Why don't we'll try to get it in. We'll try to get in Euchre's final call cut and take me out of the ballgame coming before the end of the show.
To be the candidate for the Democratic Party. They
Sounds
are Attorney
good.
General Josh Kaul,
Thank you.
Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, and State Senator Kelda Royce. There are more candidates we're
Also,
monitoring too.
Jim on
This
YouTube
primary will be a
thinks that we
remarkable
should turn your show into an advice column, or at least include one.
for the party.
Maybe we
But
should
on
do
the
that. Yeah.
Republican
Ask
side, it's less
Todd.
about the voters and more about the
Not
endorsement of one man.
ask Todd anything. It's
Because
just
whoever
ask,
gets Trump's
basically like
endorsements
the
is
old
all but a
Lucy
lock
thing on
to
the
win
peanut
that
strip,
primary. Check
Right.
out my column
Advice.
for much, much more.
5 cents.
5
Therapist,
cents.
5
5 cents. Therapist 5. That's about what my therapy would be worth.
My part-time
But hey,
service
I
in the
can
Army National
give you a
Guard
tip.
The doctor is in.
The doctor is real
for
in.
the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. The Army National Guard has
PJ,
taught
you're
me
referring to
the value
civic
of
media
showing
jobs?
respect to those I come in contact
I'm
with
guessing.
each day. My
If
service
so,
also
those
allows
update
me to be there for
fairly
my
often.
community in
What
ways
they're
others
advertising
can't.
for a host 2 to
I
4.
help my hometown recover after nature strikes.
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh,
Service
okay,
in the
good.
Army National Guard
Didn't
allows
know.
me to keep my country and those I care about safe. Professionals that help me succeed and accomplish the mission. Plus, the Army National Guard education benefits make getting a higher education a reality. Being an Army National Guard soldier makes living and serving in my community more rewarding every day. Learn how you too can
I
live
also
and serve
loved the
part-time, close
when
to
Robin
home by
Yount
visiting
shared that
nationalguard.com.
Euchre told him he wasn't afraid of dying. He just hoped he didn't have to be there when it
Yes.
happened, which was funny.
Yep,
Association
absolutely.
and this station.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and connected to your local
Great
community.
minds
Here's
think
Terry
alike.
Barr with the
I got it
Civic
written
Media
down.
Radio
We'll see if we
Network.
get to it. Scooters. We have a pack of scooters crossing the street now. Against the light, by the way.
Naturally.
Ranks American Family Field at
Now you have people crossing against the light. You could, for those watching the stream, you could at any moment witness a fatality. Now, all right, now lights turn red, so now the pedestrians are in the right of way.
Affordability scores out of all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Mets are last with the most expensive hot dog.
Why am I laughing about that? Nobody wants to witness a fatality, for goodness sake.
So who's
30
the
seconds.
top dog?
Thank you.
Seattle
But
is number
it still is
one.
goofy
By the
just
way, the
how much
hot
people
As long as
don't
nobody
care.
will get seriously injured, right? That's the main thing. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is 8 minutes before the hour of 4 o'clock. At the top of the hour, ABC or CBS News, whichever one of your stations that you're listening to across the great state of Wisconsin, that will come on at the top of the hour. Check of weather. Our great sports reporter, Mike Clemens, will be in looking back at the great Eucharist celebration of life last night. Again, shout out to our friends Kelly Call and Sean Hannish at Just a Bit Outside for doing all that great videography work last night and yesterday for the celebration of life. And then after Clemens will be another edition of the Maggie Dawn Show. Maggie is on location. I believe it's called the Cactus Club in Milwaukee. So we'll find out. I'll be listening with bated breath, find out what that's all about. So join Maggie and her guests live on location in Milwaukee right after us. Right now, talking about this Washington Post story today. Pentagon, Trump planning to deploy more military in Chicago. After what he did in D.C., he armed the National Guard folks in D.C. over the weekend with live ammunition and now targeting Chicago next. I think that Milwaukee better be ready because Trump has already called out Milwaukee as a horrible city, quote unquote. I obviously disagree. But to me, this is a lot more about politics than it is practicality. 855-752-4842. Let's go out to the beautiful Driftless in the Southwest. Listening to WRCE Ross in beautiful Crawford County. Ross, thanks for listening. What say you?
Hey, Todd, you're right. It is beautiful out here. So I spent a few years in the National Guard and the Reserves. And the big challenge that National Guard people is, they're going in once a month for a couple of days. They have a couple of weeks in the summer. It's training on whatever skill set they're going. We're going to be asking, Trump is telling National Guard troops that are not necessarily military police who are trained to handle those scenarios in which you're running up against people that you may have to kind of push from point A to point B or kind of, appropriately kind of confine them. You're going to have all sorts of people that are not trained for this. So I think that if all they're going to do is just guard a statue or kind of keep people moving along in the Washington Mall, but if you were to put some of these troops into dangerous neighborhoods, it's a setup for a disaster. And like you say, when you play politics with the National Guard, it's only going to bring problems to the image of the military.
Ross, first of all, thank you for your service. Appreciate that to this country. You bring up a great point. By Trump doing this, he's endangering the troops as much as anybody else, the civilians in these situations, because you're absolutely right. We've been honored to spend time with some of our National Guard troops around the state, and it's specialized, right? Not every National Guard troop is trained in policing necessarily.
That's right. When they go to basic training, it's basically you're taking a person who has no idea of how to sort of work with other people in a wartime situation. That is not. And then once they get deployed to their unit, then things sort of simmer down, and then they just sort of take up their job, whatever their specialty is. You might be a mechanic, you might be a driver, you might be a medic, or whatever it might be. But these people are not trained, whereas military police, I could see if he wanted to take military police because that's their specialty. But I think what he's doing is he's setting them up for potential problems. And I don't see any good in it.
Really important point, Ross. I appreciate you calling in with that. And thanks for your listenership out there, beautiful Crawford County. Want to end where we began with Bob Uecker, the celebration of life yesterday. Saw this online, thought we'd play it for you. Bob Uecker's last call last year against the New York Mets.
Tying run at the plate. 4-2 New York. The pitch. A double play ball hit to Lindor, and the throw is going to wind up with a double play. And the New York Mets, after coming from behind with a big 4-run ninth inning rally. Wow. Well, New York down. They did it. And the crew will have it end here tonight.
Really a crushing end to what was a fabulous season for the Milwaukee Brewers.
I'm telling you, that one had some sting on it.
Listen to that game in Ripon last year. He just had a feeling, and that was Bob Uecker's last call behind the microphone. I want to leave you probably, this is probably going to go up to the bottom of the top of the hour, right, Zobber? Is this clip here or pretty close?
We've got
time to get in. All right, let's leave you a little happier note with you. Chicago Cubs, look, I don't like them as a team. I'll give them credit. When the Brewers were down there last week, they replayed this on their Jumbotron at Wrigley Field. They played it again yesterday, part of Kelly Call and Sean Handish's work. Great work yesterday. This is Uke from a couple of seasons ago, leading the seventh inning stretch and take me out to the ball game down at Chicago at Wrigley Field.
Uecker leads us with Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
All right, let me hear you, folks. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. I'll root for the Brewers. You do the same for the Cubs. So it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Thank you very much.
The late, great Bob Uecker. Take me out to the ball game. Again, many, many thanks and bravo to the guys that just have been outside, Kelly Collins, Sean Hannish, for putting all that work together. As Zommer said, you could see the entire ceremony, if you missed it yesterday, at Major League Baseball's YouTube page, Uecker's Celebration of Life. Many thanks to Tom Kircher from Wisconsin Watch for being here. All of you for listening. Zommer is doing yeoman work on the board as always. Stay tuned. Maggie Dawn's On Location show is next. We'll be back here with you tomorrow. Enjoy your afternoon, wherever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in. Do not give up. Keep banging your drum. Long live Uke.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Adios.
Bye-bye.